Hi, good evening. Kim Baker here with the Faith, Family, and Forgiveness. And tonight we're going to be back talking about anger. And going to start off talking about analyzing our anger for self reflection and introspection. Okay? To try to understand the triggers in our life and the patterns and the underlying causes of our anger. Okay, where's it? Where's it coming from? What's it stemming from? Okay. But before I get into that, just want to share a couple announcements with you. One is you see scrolling down to the bottom of your screen where it says bscministry.com. That is our website. Got a brand new website. Okay. You may wonder, okay, why is it called vscministry.com, but it's for faith, family, and forgiveness? Well, that is our domain name, VSC Ministry. And I did not change the domain name because GoDaddy wanted $4,000 to change it. So I did not change it. Okay. But anyway, don't know how many people are aware of this, but April is actually Child Abuse Awareness Month. Okay. And so during this month, um, a lot of people wear blue ribbons to try to bring awareness to this issue of child abuse. Okay. So how did this get started? Okay. Because everything gets started somewhere. Okay. So I want to share this story with you tonight before we get into talking about anger. Uh, Listening to this story um, will probably cause you to be angry. Okay. And we ought to be when we hear this story from her name is Bonnie Finney. I believe South Carolina, I think, is where she was from. Okay, and this actually started in 1989. 1989. Okay, so Bonnie Finney's story. It had been long. It had been so long since I sat by my grandson's side in the hospital. Of course, I knew something was wrong as I sat there. I saw fear on his face, the bruises on his body, the healing cigarette burns on his hands. His doctor did not believe my daughter's story that he fell in slippery water in the bathtub. After the ordeal at the hospital, my grandson was placed into foster care for 3 weeks. He cried when they came to take him back to his mother. Okay? I ached for his dilemma, but I was not physically able to care for him, and I never saw him again. My 16-month-old granddaughter was hospitalized after being beaten severely. Her leg was broken in 4 places. Her hand was burned from the tip of her little finger to her wrist. It was only then that the search was on for my grandson. We learned he had been killed, wrapped in a sheet, stuffed in a toolbox, and dumped into a dismal swamp 3 months earlier. My grandchildren had suffered and battled so much throughout their young lives that it sickened me. My life was turned into physical and mental chaos. My efforts to understand became a plea to stop abusing children. I tied a blue ribbon on my van antenna to make people wonder why blue. I intend never to forget the battered, bruised bodies of my grandchildren. Blue serves as a constant reminder to me to fight for protection of our children. Okay, so that was Bonnie Finney's story. And in 1989, when the grandmother, Bonnie Finney, tied a blue ribbon to the antenna of her car to make people wonder. The story she told to inquisitive community members was a tragic story about the abuse of her grandchildren, which ultimately led to the brutal death of her grandson. The story of Bonnie Finney demonstrates the effect that just one concerned citizen can have on raising public awareness of child abuse and promoting prevention. Since Bonnie Finney first tied that blue ribbon to her car antenna in 1989, millions of people across the country have participated in blue ribbon campaigns. Each year, more people join the effort by wearing blue ribbons. Encourage others to wear and display them, and getting involved in community activities to make people wonder about the significance of the blue ribbon. So that is where the blue ribbon actually started in 1989 to bring awareness to uh, child abuse. Okay, and I just wanted to share that with y'all tonight. Okay, oh, what's going on here? Okay, all right. So I think I may need to turn the music down just a little bit. There we go. All right. So analyzing your anger involves self reflection and introspection to understand the triggers and the patterns and underlying causes of our anger. Okay, so here's a step by step guide to help you in this process. Okay, number one, be able to recognize the physical and emotional cues that come with unresolved anger. Okay, so we need to start by becoming aware that there are physical and emotional signs that will indicate that we're getting angry. Okay? So we need to pay attention to these. Okay? So some of the physical signs is an increased heart rate. Why? Well, because adrenaline gets released, and that in turn causes our heart rate to start to increase. Okay, it's telling us that there's something wrong. Okay, so along with increased heart rate, we can have muscle tension. Okay, muscles become tight. Next, we can become irritable. Are you ever irritable? Okay. And there are actually there are other cues that also signal anger. Okay. Now next, let's look at some triggers. Okay. So how do we identify our anger triggers? What could be a trigger that is causing our anger? Okay? First, we have to analyze. Okay, how do you analyze? You got to stop and you got to introspect. You've got to look at situations that are going on that that what's the situation I'm in? What's going on right now? What is this situation and why is it causing my heart rate to increase? Why is my muscles getting tense or tight? Okay? So it could be a situation that's causing it. It could be an event. Okay? Maybe you're at an event, or it could be an event that's coming up that is causing this anger to escalate. Why is this event causing my anger to escalate? Next, it could be just specific circumstances. Okay, uh, being around certain people, being in a certain place. Okay, could be maybe at a funeral home, maybe you're at a hospital. Could be any number of things. Okay. Next, we need to explore our underlying emotions. What emotions am I experiencing? So for this, we do need to dig deeper, okay, to analyze, to recognize, to admit that there's an issue. There's something going on. Okay? So why do we need to dig deeper? Well, to understand the emotions that that are actually beneath this anger that is rearing its ugly head. Why? Okay? So and what we have to understand is that a lot of times anger is masking other emotions that we may be feeling or experiencing, okay? Such as hurt. Have we been hurt by a friend? Have we been hurt by a loved one, by a family member, by a church member? Okay? Am I fearful? Is there something that's causing me to have fear? to rise up inside of me? Am I fearful of something? Is there something that I'm being fearful about? Okay. Could it be a medical issue? Okay. That can cause fear, most definitely. Okay. What about frustration? Am I frustrated over somebody or something? A circumstance, an event. Again, okay. What's Am I frustrated? Okay. What am I frustrated about? Next, it could be sadness. Okay. You may have lost a loved one. Causes sadness, which can cause anger. Can cause us to be angry. Okay. Number 4, we need to examine our thought patterns. Okay. What are we thinking when these angering situations are taking place in our life? Okay. So here we go again with the A word, analyze. Okay. How do we analyze? Well, we have to observe, we have to be open to opening ourselves up to what's really going on, and being 100% honest with ourselves. Okay. And you know, there's a lot of times in life that we're angry, but we don't want to act like we're angry. We don't want people to think we're angry. We don't even want God to think we're angry. But guess what? We're not fooling him. And for the most part, we're probably not fooling anybody else. Okay. We're really just fooling ourselves. Okay. So we have to analyze. We have to consider everything that's been going on in your life. Okay. You have to analyze your thoughts. Well, okay. Uh, old Joe over here said this to me. This is what I thought when he said it. Okay. Well, why did I think that? Why did that thought come in my head? Okay. To analyze it. Okay. What about our beliefs? Maybe it's a situation that is causing this anger. Okay. Well, what's our beliefs about this situation, or even what's our belief about this event? You know, are there specific cognitive patterns? Yes. Or uh, or actually irrational beliefs contributing to your anger? Very well could be. Are we blowing it? Are we blowing it out of proportion? Okay. Is what was said or what was done, is it really that big of a deal? Okay. What if you wasn't already angry about something else when whatever is taking place is taking place? Would you be as angry about it now if you wasn't already angry about something else? Probably not. Probably wouldn't bother you as much. So what does that tell us? It tells us this, that when angering situation comes up, if we don't analyze it, if we don't address it, if we don't do something about it, okay, all it's going to do is just start, it's going to continue to build up and build up and build up before you are a before you're a volcano. You're just an erupting volcano if you're not careful. Okay? Well, I can't do anything about everything that makes me angry. Yeah. Yeah, we really can. We really can. We can do something about it. What can we do? We can address it. We can analyze it. We can address it. We can admit, hey, this makes me angry. Why does it make me angry? Okay? Because when we do that, we may not think it will, but it will take the anger away. Okay? Next thing is this. Okay? Is what I'm getting angry about it really worth my time? Is it worth my effort? Could I be doing something more productive than being angry over something that's really shouldn't have no effect on me? Okay? So if it really is affecting us, then we need to do something about it. If not, drop it. Now, I understand that that is a lot easier to say than do sometimes, but can you change it? If you can't change it, we got to give it to we got to give it to the Father. We don't we don't need to hang on to it. We're not designed to hang on to it. We're not supposed to hang on to it. Number 5, consider your past experiences. Okay? So reflect back, think back on some past experiences that you've been through or some events that you've been through that maybe has caused anger in the past. Why did it why did it make you angry? Okay? What did you do about it? Did you do anything about it? Did you just let it go? Did you just let it build? Are there unresolved issues or past traumas that influence your anger reactions? Hey, I've been very open and honest over the years about this topic right here. Anger was my downfall. No doubt about it. Anger was my downfall. Why? Because there were unresolved issues and past traumas that affected my anger reactions. Now, was it easy? Was it fun to address those issues, to address that trauma in the past? Lord, no, it was hard, very hard. Was I able to do it immediately? No. It took time. I had to work at it. But once I addressed the past trauma that I had been through, then it opened my eyes up to the anger that I had expressed to others. They didn't deserve it. Number six, observe your behavior patterns. Okay, so how can we observe our behavior patterns? And again, we're going to go back to the old word analyze. Okay, to analyze, to look at. So, how do you typically respond? Okay, because here's the thing about it what we need to understand is, okay, anger is a God given emotion. Okay, Jesus got angry. There are several times in scriptures where we see where Jesus got angry. Okay, one of the uh, one of the times that he got angry that most people will think about is turning over the tables of the money changers, and when they were in the temple, uh, exchanging money, and they were actually cheating people. Okay, so what did Jesus do? He saw it. He told them, you know, basically, and I'm gonna paraphrase the scriptures. Okay, it's not gonna be word for word. Just he's saying that you're making a mockery of my father's house. So what's he do? He goes and sits down underneath the tree and braids a whip, and then comes back and turns the tables over and runs them out. He was angry. Okay, but how do you typically respond? And the reason why I bring that up is because there's going to be things that's going to make you angry, and you have a right to be angry about it. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about normally, typically, in our everyday life, how do we respond to situations? Okay, that's what we're actually talking about. Do you tend to suppress your emotions, or do you explode with outbursts, or do you engage in passive aggressive behavior? Okay, which is it? Okay, now how is one way that we can try to help us to determine how we typically respond in angering situations? Okay, well, one of the best ways of doing it is by doing a journal. Okay? No, we can't. You're not going to be able to sit there and carry a journal with you 24 hours a day, you know, and write down everything. Okay? But something happens. When you get time, write down what happened. Write down as close to detail as you can. Okay? Then write down how you responded to that situation. Okay? And we'll be able to go back and and you can take that journal and you can say, okay, look, okay, on this day, you know, this happened. This is how I responded. This is how long it took me to not be angry, really angry. Okay? And then you can go back and you can look and you will most likely see a pattern. You will start to see patterns. Okay? Is it Do you get really angry in the morning? Do you get really angry in the afternoons? Things like that. Okay? So uh and I kind of jumped ahead a little bit of myself, but number 7 is journaling and self-assessment. Okay? Yeah. Record your triggers. Maintain a journal to track anger episodes and record what triggered your anger. Okay. What made me angry? Okay. Who was it that made me angry? Because that may be something, that may be you may find out that that could be a trigger, that it's a person that's the trigger. Okay. What's my emotion responses? Kind of already went over that. What were my thoughts? And what was the outcome of my reaction? Yeah. What happened? Okay. Did the situation get addressed? Did it cause a relationship to be broken? Did it cause a relationship to become closer? Okay. Lots of things that we can put in our journal that will help us to better understand in the future. Okay. Number 8, seek feedback. Okay. Uh, Talk to trusted friends. Ask them for their observations about your anger. You know, how do they feel being around you when you're angry? Things like that. Okay. You can ask family. And number 9, professional help. Okay. Consider seeking support. From a therapist, uh, pastor. You could try that avenue. Okay. Practice mindfulness and reflection. Okay. Uh, Take time to reflect on your emotional responses and their origins regularly. Okay. Uh, if you just take one episode, write it down, and that's it, you're probably not going to learn a lot from it. You might, but most likely you won't. Okay? All right. Now we're going to do an anger quiz. Okay. And be very, very honest with yourself. Okay. It won't do no good to go and to sugarcoat it. Be honest. Okay. If you're going to answer the question, be honest. Okay. So, how often do you feel angry in a typical week? Okay. So, is it rarely or never, occasionally, or frequently? Number two, what are your typical physical responses when you're angry? Okay. Select all that apply. Okay. So this is physical symptoms or physical responses. Okay. Does your do you have increased heart rate, muscle tension, or clenching? Do you clench your fist? Right here, clench fist. Sweating or flushed face? Do you have shallow or rapid breathing? Or E, other? Okay, and write it out. Okay. Number three, when you get angry, how do you usually respond? I tend to explode with outbursts or yelling. I withdraw or give the silent treatment. I try to suppress my anger and keep it to myself. I express it assertively, trying to communicate calmly. What are some common triggers for your anger? Select all that apply. Work related stress, family conflicts, traffic, commuting, financial concerns, or other. Number five, how do you feel after expressing your anger? Are you relieved? Do you feel better? You feel guilty or regretful? Or C, it depends on the situation. Do you find it easy or challenging to identify the emotions underneath your anger? Easy. I can usually pinpoint the underlying emotions. Challenging. It's hard I'm feeling other than angry. 7. How long does your anger typically last? Passes quickly within minutes. It lingers for hours or even days. It depends on the situation. Number 8. When you're angry, how does it impact your relationships or interactions with others? I tend to lash out or become confrontational. I withdraw or become distant. It varies depending on the situation. Number 9, how willing are you to seek help or use strategies to manage your anger? I'm very willing. I actively seek ways to manage my anger. Somewhat willing, but I'm unsure where to start. Not very willing. I prefer dealing with it on my own. Okay? So that's the anger quiz there. I'm not going to get started on another section tonight. So we're going to call it quits right here. But again, this is Kim Baker with the Faith, Family, and Forgiveness. And down at the bottom of the screen where you see where it's scrolling, where it says bscministry.com, that is our website. Please go to our website, check it out. We got videos, we got study material, we got this study material you can download, or any of the other classes that we do. Okay? Be conscious of the rest of the month of April that this is Child Abuse Awareness Month. If you have some blue ribbon, I encourage you to make you a ribbon. Wear it. And when people ask you what the blue ribbon represents or why you're wearing a blue ribbon, tell them about that. This is April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. Okay. Um, we need to eliminate this from our society. Okay. Um, I know it's going to be hard to do, but that should be our goal. Okay. All right. So next week we're going to start out talking about how to resolve our anger towards God, towards Yahweh or God. Okay. Yahweh is the Hebrew word for God. Okay. That's all that is. But okay. How can we resolve our anger towards God? Okay? And that will be the start of next week. And we'll dive into some other issues and some other situations. Okay? Again, thank you for being here. If you tuned in on Facebook, please like, or if you haven't liked the page, please like the page, follow it. If you would, like and share this video. The more people that like it, the more people that Facebook will allow to see it. Okay? They monitor it. And so for every person that likes it, someone else will get to see this that may really need it. Okay? So you could be helping out someone else. Okay? Out of a really bad situation just by clicking like. Okay? All right. God bless and have a great rest of the week. And we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. next Tuesday night.